only thing better than a great fantasy film is a free fantasy movie that requires no need for subscriptions to streaming services such as Netflix or Amazon Prime. All you need is a Wi-Fi connection and a laptop or a mobile phone to access YouTube. This list will give you 5 recommendations of excellent fantasy movies I have found available to watch on YouTube for free. But you must be quick, as these films can get removed at any time for copyright infringements. Links to all the films will be provided in the description below. But before we begin, don't forget, if you love anything to do with historical, fantasy, TV shows, or movies, then subscribe to my channel, History Spark. At number 5, it is the 1982 sword and sorcery fantasy film The Beastmaster, which is about a young man's search for revenge after his adoptive father gets murdered by a priest and his cronies. Dar vows revenge and uses his ability to communicate with animals to track down and find his enemies. This epic film was largely ignored during its theatrical release, but it's got a pretty decent following now, and it will appeal to children and adults alike. The Beastmaster is a fun, simple, and engaging adventure with good acting and effective use of animal sidekicks and superpowers. This movie is not an original or a masterpiece by any means, but it understands what it sets out to be, and it does it very well. At number 4, it is Helen of Troy, a film based around the Trojan War, with it drawing most of its inspiration from the Iliad by Homer. This is a semi-decent portrayal of the Trojan War, and I really enjoyed it, as I didn't have many expectations for this film, but it was much better than I was originally anticipating. It was also cool to see some pretty famous actors like Stellan Skarsgård and Johnny Rhys Davies in the film as well. The acting in this film is decent, as the budget for Helen of Troy wasn't very big, so the emphasis here is on storytelling rather than large battles and action scenes. Overall, I thought the film was good, and if you go in without comparing it too much to Troy, you will find an enjoyable and free movie here for you to watch. At number 3, it is The Odyssey, a 1997 miniseries based around the Odyssey by Homer, which follows the story of the Greek king Odysseus and his long journey home after the Trojan War, which resulted in a huge number of obstacles and Greek mythological monsters for him to defeat during this boat ride home. The cast here is led by Armand Assante, who is one of the most underrated actors in my opinion, and he is amazing here as Odysseus, but unfortunately the same cannot be said for the rest of the cast, as a lot of the acting is dull and quite monotone at times. But this movie does a great job of being true to the Odyssey, as much as a limited budget movie can be with 90s technology, and it is a fast and fun-filled adventure I think most audiences will not have had the chance to watch yet. Link in the description below. At number 2, it is Beowulf and Grendel, a 2005 historical fantasy adventure based around the Anglo-Saxon epic poem Beowulf. Beowulf and Grendel stars Gerard Butler and Stellan Skarsgård, who seems to be in every low-budget historical and fantasy movie out there. But nonetheless, it gives you some confidence to know that the acting here is decent, and definitely not the best work of pretty much anyone in the cast, but it is still serviceable. The storyline is decent, and it depicts the poem well enough, and the costume design and set pieces are great as well. If you can ignore the flaws such as no character development and some pointless subplots, then watching Beowulf and Grendel might be a great way to pass away a few hours. And the top spot on this list goes to The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, the 1988 adaptation of the classic C.S. Lewis movie by the same name, which follows 4 siblings who find their way into a mysterious and unique new world where winter is everlasting, and the 4 siblings must join forces with the Narnians to defeat the evil White Witch. This is a simple and straightforward story which is pretty faithful to the books, and it has brilliant acting by the entire cast. The biggest weakness for this movie is its limited budget, which looked a bit outdated in the 80s, so it is definitely very subpar to what we are used to in today's society. But if you're looking for a free adventure to Narnia and can resist from making too many visual comparisons to the 2005 movie versions, then you will find a fun and fascinating fantasy adventure here for you. So lastly, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please do like and share it with others, and subscribe to my channel History Spark for anything related to historical or fantasy movies and TV shows. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.